The Color of Your Eyes, written by Blackcatsassin, read by gutterratt1213. Chapter 30, Richy, Part 2. "You're leaving, Phil?" Richy asked, as no one spoke a word or moved a muscle. Phil suddenly grabbed Richy by his collar and dragged him inside before slamming the door shut. Richy let himself be pulled forcefully into the living room, where he was thrown onto the couch. Phil and Dan looked at Richy as if they wanted to murder him. Thomas wholeheartedly ignored him. Hannah and Lilly were the only ones looking back at the mechanic, while Jessy was crying her eyes out and ran into a different room, followed by Cleo. "I'm sorry, I can't do this right now," Cleo mumbled an apology to Hannah without sparing Richy a look. Hannah could only nod her head. Jake was sitting in a corner, just watching the events unfold in front of him, looking visibly tired.
"Look who came to greet us, the legend himself, the dark poultry, the man without a face."
Dan leaned back and folded his fingers. He looked at Richy with disdain and disappointment.
"Dan, I know you're angry. I have fucked up."
Richy tried to find the right words.
"Big time,"
Dan added.
"I've hurt each and every one of you, my closest friends."
Richy's hand started to shake.
"Oh, no you didn't. You just kidnapped Hannah, attacked Jessy, and lied to us all, making us worry sick about you after your alleged kidnapping. Am I missing something? Oh, yeah, you threatened and traumatized Leah as well,"
Dan said in a calm voice as if he was talking about the weather.
"I also caused Amy to commit suicide."
Richy looked down in shame. Phil looked at him with disgust.
"I have a lot to atone for, you guys."
Richy looked up, smiling painfully. His eyes started to water. Hannah got up and sat beside him on the couch. Richy sobbed and looked away. "Why are you here, Richy?" she asked softly. Richy let out a small, nervous laugh.
"I had come after hearing what happened to Leah. I also felt compelled to get you guys to believe me that I have nothing to do with her disappearance."
"We already know, Richy. Jake found a video of Leah being held hostage. The situation is very complicated, but we know who has her," Lilly explained.
"You know who has her? Jake is here?"
Richy looked around, and his eyes fell on Jake, who was at the furthest corner from him.
"Jake, I have not gotten a chance to thank you for saving my life."
Richy nodded, with a faint smile, but Jake didn't move and only stared back at him. "Are you okay?" Lilly got up and went to her brother. Jake didn't answer. He was only staring. Lilly touched his cheek, and Jake's head slumped a little. "I think you're tired. Try to sleep." Lily's words made Hannah get up from the couch, and together they brought Jake into Hannah's bedroom. Jake didn't complain, nor did he protest. His eyes were closed, and he looked like he would lose consciousness at any second. A couple of minutes after that, the Donfort sisters left the bedroom, closing the door behind him. "He's out." Hannah made a hand gesture, indicating that Jake is, for the time being, not able to talk with anyone.
"Poor guy. I think it was all a bit too much for him. First you, his half-sister, then the girl he loves."
Richy shook his head with a sympathized look. There was a silence. No one knew what to say or do until Dan broke it.
"So what now?"
he asked at the same time Cleo left the other room where Jessy was still inside.
"Now I have to talk with someone."
Richy smiled sadly before getting up and going to the room Cleo just left. He knocked gently on the door. Cleo sat beside Phil on the couch, and together they all just watched Richy gently talking through the door to Jessy. They could hear her sobbing. Dan was gritting his teeth, visibly upset about the fact that Jessy was crying. But knowing the matter was between her and Richy, he didn't dare meddle in. After 2 minutes of Richy coaxing Jessy to talk with him, the door opened a little and a hand reached out. Richy smiled, and his eyes were watery when the hand gently pulled him into the room. The group heard the two of them talking, sometimes sobbing in between, and after a while, there was even a bit of laughter when Richy talked about how he ran away from the hospital in stealth mode. Cleo, along with Hannah and Lilly, smiled at each other. Thomas and Dan relaxed a bit, and Phil just had a serious look on his face. In the meantime, Richy tried to extend an olive branch to Jessy. The red-haired girl was still unsure. "You promise that you will never, ever do anything like that again?" Jessy was holding Richy's hands.
"I swear, Jessy, I was an idiot. A huge idiot for not being honest and letting everything get out of hand. I thought about taking the short way out to, pay for my crimes. If it weren't for Jake, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking with you, seeing our friends again. I would have not had the chance to apologize and be honest. God, you have no idea how liberating it is to finally be honest. It was not the fire that almost killed me, or the bullets. It was the lies and the secrets, and now that I have a second chance, I won't throw it away so easy."
Jessy sniffled and smiled, squeezing the hands of her best friend. She still felt hurt by Richy's actions, but it was a step towards feeling better after they had a heart-to-heart talk.
"I owed Jake and Leah so much,"
Richy trailed off.
"I owed Jake my life and Leah my sanity. I had planned to end it all, way before I staged my kidnapping, way before I painted the symbol on my garage door. I was going to do it. I was going to drive into the Blackwater Lake, let myself get drowned."
Richy wiped another tear as Jessy was looking horrified at him.
"But I couldn't, I just couldn't. Not after everyone, especially Lilly, were accusing Leah and Jake to be the kidnappers. Especially Jake. I had no connection with Jake. We never talked. He was not a friend. But Leah was fiercely protective of him and took most of the blow for him, while she was being good and friendly towards me. I couldn't help but feel a connection with her, even though we'd only known each other for a couple of days. The strangest thing was that I knew Leah trusted me. She genuinely trusted me. We weren't friends, nor did we know each other in real life, but she trusted me. She had no reason to, but she did."
Richy was looking down while placing both his hands on the back of his neck.
"She was such a good person, so I wanted to scare her away, to make her leave so that the others would stop accusing her or being suspicious of her. Leah had nothing to do with us. She was 100% innocent. I didn't want to drag her further into my mess, but she stayed. And worst of all, she hid her own pain. She didn't tell me a single word about the man without a face threatening her. I was surprised she didn't share that with anyone. I can imagine she must have been terrified, but for us, she remained strong."
Jessy looked away. "I think it was way later that she shared that with us. I think it was around the time when Jake joined the group or so. I don't know. My memories are all over the place." Richy smiled and lowered his hands.
"I think because of how selflessly she trusted me, I decided to stage my kidnapping and then me rescuing Hannah. I never expected it to get way, way out of hand. One thing led to another."
Jessy looked up. "I just don't understand one thing. Why did you end up coming to us to the house in the middle of the night? After you threatened us, warning us that you will be coming, did you not expect us to fight back? To not use weapons?" Jessy asked, bewildered.
"Oh, that."
Richy grinned while rubbing the bandage on his arm with a painful look.
"That was all my stupid brain's fault. I thought if the man without a face showed himself while you guys saw the live stream of me and Hannah being together, you guys would surely not suspect that I was the man without a face. I would have staged the rescue, and it would free me of all suspicions. It totally slipped my mind that you guys would retaliate, with a real gun nonetheless. I mean, come on, it was only supposed to be Thomas and you three girls. Thomas couldn't harm a fly, and doesn't even know how to punch a pillow."
Richy grinned, and Jessy let out a snort.
"You, Lilly, and Cleo, I thought you girls were just going to lock yourself in a room. I was going to make a couple of noises in the house, maybe break a plate or two, and then run away. I totally did not expect Dan out of the hospital, with a real gun. Where did he get that gun anyway? Don't tell me he owned one."
Oh, Lily admitted it was her father's. She got into huge trouble because of that, but Hannah's return kind of overshadows that. Still, you should have seen her father's face. He's also not pleased at all that Alan still has the gun confiscated as evidence.
Remind me never to try and spook you guys again.
Richy scratched the back of his head. Not even during Halloween? Jessy pouted.
I think I'll pass on being scary for the next 20 years.
Richy grinned, and the two laughed. Richy patted Jessy's head before she hugged him, saying, "Thank you for returning to us." Richy looked shocked before he had a soft look in her eyes and hugged Jessy back.
Thank you for not giving up on me.